The book's called My Little Dragon, and in essence what it's about is young Joseph Smith is getting terrorised at night by sounds. He's terribly frightened and he lives with his grandfather, and his grandfather gives him a small dragon, toy dragon, to look after him during the night. And during the night the sound comes back for Joseph and that dragon comes alive. Now what happens thereafter, you're going to have to read the story to find out. I probably started the book many years ago when I was still living at home with my parents, 15 years ago at this point I'd imagine, but it was on and off and I didn't really put too much effort into it. But as with most people picking up old hobbies during lockdown, I had a lot more time to myself, so I really fired home and really put effort into it during lockdown. But that's the mainstay. But I'd probably say over the last 2 years when I really put focus into it. So the focus is between 6 and 11-year-olds, but my main focus as such is having people read to their children, because that's something I think has fallen by the wayside. I personally read to my nieces and nephews, my parents always read to me, and my brothers and sisters read to their children. So that's something I do really enjoy and want people to do more of. So I've written it in a way that it can be read to a child, and I think that's probably better used as, but obviously children can pick it up and read it themselves as well. The inspiration essentially came from very much reality. So my nephew had stayed over my parents' house. It was a stormy night, it was terrible. Wind was whipping round, you had bins being moved outside, and he was very scared because he felt there was something out there. So my grandfather went into his room, and I think it was an old money box shaped as a dragon, the Welsh dragon with Cymru written across the bottom, and put it in his room and told him that that dragon would look after him during the night and protect him. And to be honest, Joseph fell straight asleep. So that's where it was born from, and it just went from there. I think I started with 5 or 6 lines on a piece of paper, and here we are now. To be honest, no, because I struggled in school with literacy. I was in the bottom sets for English, and similarly for Welsh, I was really struggling with my literacy. Everything else I was okay, science and maths, but English was always my struggle point. But I managed to fight my way through, and with support from the school, I managed to actually get through to set 1, and I got my English language and literature. So for writing, it was always difficult for me, but during lockdown, it really started more off. I loved the idea of writing and building my own stories and building my own worlds, and that's what I really enjoyed doing. So fantasy was more my genre, and obviously the books I'd pick up were of that ilk, and that's what I ended up doing. So not naturally, but it just became something I grew in love with, really. My Welsh language has rusted, I'll be honest, since I've left school, because I'm not getting as much chance to practice it. But my partner speaks Welsh, so at home we do try and use it as often as possible. A lot of our friends still speak Welsh, so again, we try and speak it where possible. It is a goal in the future to eventually have this in Welsh as well, but that's obviously a time will tell situation. Well, the support from Niche has been excellent, to be honest. Everyone always has a look over my books and tries to read some of the illustrations, give me some support there. Our compliance director, Tom Roberts, actually spent his own time outside of work hours, looking through the manuscript and trying to proofread it and add little sections in. It's been massive. It's really a family support, really. That's the way I felt. I think one of the biggest things is take the first step. As I said earlier on some of the questions, this book literally started as 3 or 4 lines on a piece of C5 paper. It was literally scribbled. I literally had an idea and wrote it down, and then I just built on it and built on it. As I say, it took me years to get to this point because I was probably not putting as much effort in as I probably should have. But it's something you do in your own time, and you'll find if you're good at something or something you enjoy, it will become beautiful and it will become good just naturally because you're passionate about it. So that's the main thing, is take some time, even if it's only 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it may be, just 5 minutes before bed. The amount of stories I've come up with lying in bed thinking, oh, that'd be a good idea. I'll jot it down on my phone and then come back to it in the morning. That's what you need to do, is just pursue it, but you don't have to chase it wholeheartedly, stop doing everything else and focus on it. Do a little bit and you'll get so much more joy out of it. As I said earlier, obviously one of the things I do want to do is make sure that the communities around me get that opportunity. So I am going to be giving out some of the books to schools and libraries in the area. So if you do have a school that is looking for something, please send it in. Obviously I've only got so many copies for myself, but I do want to try and give those out. So everyone has that opportunity and can read, because picking up a book, once you find one that you love, you'll be in love with the series and you won't be able to put them down. For me, it was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. That was the one that I picked up and thoroughly enjoyed and didn't stop reading. I read the whole series, the spin-offs, the works. But that's something I'm going to be doing as well, so keep an eye out for that, and obviously message us if you can. The illustrations were produced by the team at Austin Macaulay, my publishers, but the dragon itself, when they sent the illustration across, to be honest, it was perfect, because what I had in my mind was very similar to the dragon we have on the roof at Niche in style, and they look very, very similar. If you do see it and do manage to pop into Newport and see it, you'll see it as basically exactly the same dragon, but it was madness that what they produced was exactly what I saw. I have got a plan in place for another book in this series, so obviously it depends on how receptive everyone is and if they enjoy it, if they love it, if they want to hear more. So I've got the idea plans. Again, it was another in the morning. Oh, that would be a brilliant follow-on. I do have other books in the work, more fantasy novels, sci-fi novels, things of that nature. But for kids' books, I do have another one planned for this series, and hopefully another one after that if we get there.